Historic District meeting, and I'll take a roll call.
I, Sarah Bork.
Barbara Breaker.
Frank Todd.
Lynn Journey. John Cadillo.
Stephen Cabot.
Okay, I'd like to welcome all our guests this evening. And now we'll take a motion to accept the minutes, if you've all read them.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
No.
David? Okay. I'll take a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, I remind you, we're on television, live. Okay, our first item on the agenda is the Weathersfield Street, or Bradford Street. And would you like to make this?
Yeah. Would you like to introduce yourselves? So this is tonight, this is a discussion about the unpermitted fence installed at 75 Bradford Street. It says on the agenda that the Historic District Commission would decide whether to approve or not approve this fence, but that can't happen tonight. Because legally the butters were not notified, so.
Yes, they were.
We did notify them.
They get the list right here, and they get this sign.
Okay. Okay.
We did them
When
all
did,
last week.
so, okay.
And we did have a permit.
Right, of course you do. You have a building permit,
Yeah.
but you would need a permit from the Historic Commission
But
also for
wouldn't-
the fence.
Wouldn't that be, no one told us that we needed something for that.
Yeah, all fences come to the Historic District
Well,
Commission.
technically, it's not a fence, it's an enclosure.
True, but it is still a fence. So, okay, thank you for this. They were, so when did these go out?
I think I dated it
So on
when I
the
signed it.
24th. Okay. Is that 2 weeks?
No, you didn't give us 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, let us just have our discussion,
Okay.
okay? And let's iron out all the stuff, but thank you for this. Okay. So there's been a notification, whether or not it's 2 weeks, I'm not sure at this point, but there's a notification. Mr. Chairman, did you want to talk about the procedures of the
Yeah.
commission?
What we do is, we got a whole book of rules, and it's up to us to abide by it, and as well as you. And the Raleigh Historic District Commission serves to protect significant historic resources in the village center and the surrounding neighborhood. The Historic District allows appropriate changes to occur so the neighborhood can adapt to changing times and remain vibrant parts of the community. The Raleigh Historic District Commission does not prevent change from occurring nor prevent new development. The design review process intends to ensure the changes and additions are harmonious to protect significant buildings and to prevent the intrusion of appropriate elements that might detract from the historic character of the district. And we have to follow the guidelines. These guidelines provide the framework for reviewing projects and determining the appropriate of the character of the district. And so I'll open it up for discussion. Do you have a plan?
A plan? No, it's already installed, so,
No plan,
no,
no site plan.
no, it's already installed. Then you can come by and check it out.
With pictures?
We got pictures of it.
The reason I asked for site plan and things is, you know, how close are you to the boundary?
I'm more than 15 feet away from the boundary.
15 feet away,
More than 15,
more than
about 20 feet.
20,
I think more than that, 'cause I should.
okay. The
Yeah, about 25 feet, actually.
25 feet to the house next door?
Yep.
Okay. Now, part of our rules and regulations are we don't allow plastic fences. And we've been pretty firm about that.
Well, I don't think so, because I get fences, pictures of fences all around Rowley.
The Lake
And-
Department
and
has a
Historical
plastic fence
Society.
in front of it.
Who?
The Lake Department of Raleigh.
Robert's Funeral Home has the
Robert's
exact
Funeral
same
Home.
fence
And
as
that's one of the
us.
oldest houses in Rowley. I get pictures of all of them.
Well, what I'm saying is, in so many words, is if they're supposed to come before us, and if they don't come, then it presents a problem.
We didn't know we were supposed
There's a
to.
lot of problems within a half mile of their house. A lot of problems, and
Then
you're
you're out
gonna
of the
make everybody
district.
take all the fences down? It's a slippery slope you're playing right there. There's a lot of vinyl fences within a half mile of their house.
Maybe so, but the ones we are going to decide on is what's before us.
Well, there might be a lot more coming before you then.
And we already had the exact same fencing on our property.
And our neighbor has one too.
And our
Same
neighbor
exact
has one
fence.
exact in the property line, and we're just matching the existing fencing to go around the pool.
But it's plastic.
So
The
it's
existing
bolt
fence
moved.
is plastic.
We're just trying to match the house. The
The
house
house
is
is
vinyl.
vinyl sided.
Well, there's the picture.
We have a picture of the one that's been out back for, what,
Over
16?
15 years.
What is it?
With the-
And that's the neighbor's fence.
So that's a picture of the existing fencing that goes around our deck. It's been
Yeah.
there for 15 years.
Okay,
There's a picture taken from inside the pool that shows that they match.
right,
We
okay.
did the exact same thing. And here's our neighbor's fence.
So did you get a permit for this fence?
This fence is part of the pool.
Okay, so this one?
This one was, yes, it was part of the permit when we built, added onto the deck. It was permitted 15 years ago,
Okay.
and it was approved, never had a problem. And that's our neighbor's fence that they erected about 5
We
years ago.
never signed any
And then I
abutters.
never had to fill out any of Butters paperwork.
For this fence?
Yeah, that's our
And when
neighbor's
did it,
fence.
when did it go in? Do you know?
5, 6 years ago, and that's vinyl. There's vinyl fencing all over the historic district, that's why
The Bradford Tavern, for God's
it's
sake.
at the Bradford Tavern. The new development that went in.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is, between the property line.
That's all. And
It's a vinyl fence, we have a picture.
handicap parking, I got a picture of that too. Want to see
This is
that?
the neighbor, their fence. Yeah.
It's Bradford Tavern. That's Frank Roberts.
The Bradford Tavern, that's the exact same fence we have.
This is 10 Burke Ave.
This is
The front fencing
front-
at Bradford
this-
Tavern's wood.
the
Side
front of
fencing
it,
is
but that's
Right,
between the
look,
property, that's vinyl.
okay, that predates this board.
Well, this is Robert's Funeral Home, and this was put in this year, correct?
3 years ago.
3 years ago, Robert's Funeral Home, and that's vinyl.
It never came to us.
Yeah, that's not a permanent.
But that's the precedent that's been set in
Yeah,
this
that's,
town
Yes,
now.
that's what you're saying
exactly.
right now.
Right,
is-
you're making a good point.
Yeah.
There are some people that put fences, but it's under the radar, it's not.
Right, but I mean, that's very visible.
May I ask a question? If something that's being constructed or built requires a building permit and it needs the approval of this board, the building permit cannot be signed and approved until this board approves it, correct?
Right.
But the building permit
Is
was
signed.
signed and approved,
Signed and
which
approved.
implied that we did not need to go before this board.
And we
So
weren't the
that's where
ones
the
that took it
confusion
out.
is.
Yeah,
I just
we
want to
weren't.
justify
Yeah,
why
yeah,
the fence
we-
was put up before.
Our
the
contractor
board.
took it out.
It's not like a
Oh, the
personal.
contractor took it
Our
out?
contractor took
Yeah.
out the,
Yeah, we had nothing to do with
we had
it.
nothing to do with this.
So that's, I just do want to clarify that a building permit was issued.
Yeah. We have a valid-
We know that, because by law, you have to have this enclosed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know that.
And there
but
was, the pool company was there for 2 weeks before the fence went up. So if something was missing, why didn't somebody come to us and say,
somebody did. That's why I knew, that's how I found out that there was
the complaint wasn't
fence.
made until after the fence was up?
Exactly, it had gone up on a Wednesday, and I had gotten a notification from someone from the neighborhood who
It's
was.
the same person who complained when our house was vinyl sided. The same exact person.
Well, I don't know about that, but.
Yeah, I know who it is.
Okay,
Would you like to
well,
see the permit?
Here's the permit that's
No,
signed.
I know, I've already talked to Ken Ward, I know all about
That's
this.
the pool company that did the.
The pool company took that out, and the pool company had no idea that any of this was needed.
But
and
you
neither
guys
did we.
knew you were in the district though, right? You do know you live in the historic district.
I
I
did,
had no idea she might have.
I did,
There's
but
signs up around town.
some of the signs are facing the wrong way.
There's 12 vinyl fences within a half mile of their
And I-
house. They
And
must
you
have
need a
known
fence
too,
around
huh?
a pool, so you know if there's a pool going in, there will be a
Common sense
fence.
just kicks in right there.
And most people don't put up wooden fences nowadays because of the maintenance, especially around a pool.
You're still in the historic district.
But there's vinyl fences everywhere, so I didn't think it
The
was a
ones
problem.
we are brought to our attention and the ones we see,
Mhm.
we take action on it.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we went to Superior Court on one here rather recently.
Mhm.
So there are.
That wasn't a vinyl fence.
Hmm?
The one was that Kovacs? That wasn't a vinyl
That wasn't
fence.
vinyl.
It was in the wrong area.
But that was wood, that was not vinyl.
It's a different issue.
Different issue.
Two different
And there was no
issues right
permit
there.
pulled for that, this actually
And
has a valid
that's why it
permit.
ended up in court.
But,
Yeah.
Right.
exactly, but actually you don't have a permit for this fence.
But
all
a pool
fences-
comes with a fence. You
No,
can't, I can't put a pool in without a fence.
I know
Mass
that.
state law.
Okay, but it is a design review process, and we give you a permit that goes to Ken Ward.
But we weren't, like I said, we were not told this. This is
I-
like putting my, you know.
I know, this is a very, very unfortunate situation.
Mhm.
I really don't know why the pool company didn't not know that you weren't in the district, and that these are the steps that need to happen.
Mhm.
This is unprecedented territory for us. There really is no, I don't know,
Precedents.
yeah, but for us to even,
How long has
Look
the
at-
historic commission been around? I'm just trying to figure out how many fences have been illegally, or unpermitted fences, as you say.
yeah. So 98,
1988.
1988, pardon me.
1980, okay.
And that's why you'll see some
And
vinyl siding,
so-
houses and stuff like that, because they were
Well, my house was
predated.
vinyl sided in 2000,
So-
with a valid building permit,
And the vinyl fence around or
and a
or
vinyl
deck
fence around my
15 years
deck,
ago.
with a valid
But a
permit.
different,
It was probably different.
it was a different board, and I think, and I would like to just say, I think that there was a time, and this board, this group of people, when an applicant comes to us with valid research for a new material, we always entertain the idea of a new material. This board approves PVC trim, okay, because it's what people want. and from the viewable way or from a distance, it looks convincing, and so we allow it. There are some test houses in the district that we have used hardy siding, that we have used individual PVC or composite vinyl siding, and those are tests. And it may be true that your house was considered at one time, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, that they said, okay, it's all the rage, it looks historic, let's go for it. And that could have very well happened, okay? I wasn't here, I don't know. But I'll go upstairs and I'll look and see what the records hold. And that could be why you are seeing and you are bringing evidence of so much, as you claim, so much vinyl. And
It's
it
not
could.
quote, it's there. You can't quote it when it's there. They just built a new development
Yeah, that
right
new
down the
development.
street, and it's all, it's
The whole
vinyl
fence is
siding,
vinyl.
vinyl fence all around the house.
Yeah, what street is
Heritage
that?
Way.
Heritage Way,
Yeah,
that's a
Heritage Way.
vinyl
Wow.
That's,
fence.
that's not a
Right.
quote,
That's,
it's there.
That's and that was a fence that was within.
condo
The
association
condo association.
put that up
Yeah.
to, as like a favor for the owner, but
Yeah.
they never came
They
in front
never
of this
came
board.
before this board, but they did come.
But nothing was
they
done
went-
about that?
No, and-
No,
and
they
I'm-
didn't.
weren't
That's the thing. You gotta
It's-
see where they come from here. It's like,
But
you
they
go after this, but you don't go after that? It's like, come
they
on.
had a
Favorite sale.
screening, they had to have screening put in. They had a
Just like
screen, they had a
have to
screening.
You have to have a
have to
screening
have a
around your
fence.
pool, it's state law.
State law.
Think about it.
We're not saying no against the fence, we just wish it was wood, that's all.
But
No,
the
but that
fence
fence
is
is
already up.
Wood, that one's not.
I'm not, I'm just thinking out loud, I'm
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Right, 10 years to be
I
brought
mean, are you
up.
gonna come
What do you
paint it
do?
every
You
year
gonna
and
maintain
maintain
You
it?
wanna-
It's an
But
unfortunate
if we-
situation that
If we let
things
the
weren't done
floodgates open
properly.
and we just say, well, then this federal guidelines, it's like,
Well, the floodgates have already been opened. If you drive around, I got the pictures on my phone.
We've
I'll
got-
show you
I
the
know,
pictures of
we have
vinyl
that's
fences.
one of the things we're gonna try to resolve is
You're gonna make
what-
everybody
what to
put
do
new
in the
ones?
future, like some
Yeah,
type
but
of a
you
policy. that-
can't make one person do something and
No,
another
no,
person
and
already
we're
has.
aware of those.
You know what I mean? So if you make them take the fence down and put up wood, that means you have to go around and take all the vinyl fences down on people? That's a,
No, it is a slippery slope.
yeah, it's a
definitely-
bad situation to get into with the town.
Yeah, you guys are gonna.
This is the one we got the complaint on.
It doesn't matter
How
when
do I
you get
file
a
a
complaint.
complaint?
If you got,
Can we
if,
file a complaint about every vinyl fence then, and then you guys will.
No, I'm asking-
I
file a
go and file complaints about all
And,
kinds of stuff.
And,
I don't know if this is a
they
really.
came forward and said that there was one here on Weathersfield Street, on the
Bradford.
corner of Weathersfield and Bradford.
So we'll take the pictures and we'll file a complaint for
Yeah,
everyone in the
and-
historic district.
Yes.
Three
every
houses
single
down
fence.
from them on the left, there's the same
Exact
fence
same fence around their
the pool.
pool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Same fence,
The
It's
Nealons.
right there.
yeah, my cousin.
And what do
actually.
you can't tell somebody to take a fence down in the historic district and not tell everybody else to take a fence down.
Yes, this is our neighbor.
That
What
is
we're
just,
saying
you can't,
51 Weathersfield
51
Street has the
Weathersfield,
same fence as
exact
us,
same fence around
around
their
their pool.
same fence.
Same fence.
It's 3 houses down
And
from us.
you
Which way?
can't sit there and,
Nealon
Take
Village
the
is right.
choice. It's Nealon's.
Nealon's, my cousin's.
Yeah.
John Neal, Roy Nealon's house.
Roy Allen's house.
Yeah.
you can't dictate what one person does to another person if it's all in the same district. So you take that district, you have to go out and tell everybody to take their fences down now?
Well, if it's
That-
complaints, then they're gonna have to
you-
review every single one.
Yeah, I could go in, I could
Beverly
file
did
complaints.
that, huh?
I-
Excuse me?
Beverly did that?
It's been there for a while.
I could file complaints to you tomorrow about every vinyl fence in the historic district.
They're all
And
gonna be
all of them are gonna come in here. It's not gonna be a good day for you.
That's gonna be a can of worms you
It's
guys
not
don't
gonna be a
want.
good day. You can't do that.
You know,
You can't dictate one person
we
to another
heard you.
person.
We heard
All right.
you. You make good points, if I could just speak, Chairman.
Please.
I think you make good points, things you brought to our attention. Part of the decision that we have to deal with is not only the situation you're in, and I think there's real issues there that deal with complicity with building departments and things that weren't done properly. But part of the decision also is how we move forward with other situations. So my suggestion, I don't know, is that it be some sort of continuance, because I think that the decision the board makes is not only this, but also moving forward with all the other issues that are apparently throughout the town. So that would be my suggestion, is come, we've heard your, I think everyone here, I think, sees that there was, you know, there are issues here that were not brought to our attention until this evening. I think it's fair.
True.
So my suggestion is that we have a discussion about that, come back the next month perhaps, after we decide not only about your situation, but also how we move forward as a board in the town to guarantee, or at least to make sure there's a review process where all the information is known. Because what you bring to our attention are things that we weren't aware of.
And there was, the other thing is, that there's been other people that have come to the board for fences, and they've introduced vinyl and said no. So those people that went and put wood up, you know, now it's like fear for them, like, you know, how, the same thing. They came and they go, I had to put up a wood fence, and that's that other thing, so.
But they went through the whole building permit with the.
We weren't
They
trying-
went through the,
Yeah.
they
We
came
weren't
in
thought they
process.
were
They
doing
didn't try to hide
We weren't
nothing.
trying to be sneaky enough.
No,
We thought
no, that's,
everything-
I know,
I
the permit.
mean, there's definitely a disconnect.
Nothing
where you
that we
guys-
have said implies that you're doing something that you're trying to sneak
That
under
fence
the wire.
costs
Okay, that's clear.
$6,500, we can't replace it.
We understand that.
And that's why we're trying to, and we're all residents, we're all neighbors, we're not here to punish people. That's why we're discussing.
Okay, then I think based on what Lynn said and John said, and Sarah said,
I don't,
can't leave anybody out. That we'll postpone this meeting over until our next meeting, which is the first Thursday in June.
All right, that sounds good.
Okay, that gives us a chance to discuss it.
So in the meantime, do we file complaints against every vinyl fence?
I would hold off on that.
Okay.
I don't think it's
You know,
gonna, it's not gonna make your situation any better
Not-
either. You go
You're not
with-
gonna feel any better about
Yeah.
it, except the fact that you're.
But I mean,
trying-
somebody-
You're
It's
reacting,
not.
you're reacting to a situation which is warranted, but the way to do it is not to strike out at other people right now.
But
Well,
one-
that's
one-
what she did to us.
Yeah, the one person
I
complained
understand
and.
that, but, you
Yeah, and
know,
that's
you
where
don't-
we
you
are.
don't have to-
Yeah.
Walter, you got a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering if there's any way that you could come up with some kind of communication for the people that live in that district.
Sure.
You know, it's probably was done 20, 30 years ago. People move in, they move out.
True.
Yeah.
I know what's on the books, but I'm not necessarily believe that everyone that lives in the district does.
Yeah.
And I just think it might prevent something like what's happening right now.
I think the whole thing has to start with the building inspector. And
outreach.
he's the one that's the safeguard.
Yeah.
And then he'd refer you to us.
That's true.
And that way, that's our, because, you know, some people go up Weathersfield Street, some people go up Main Street, they all go different directions to wherever they're going. So it's a matter of who sees.
We even discussed it. A pamphlet, like stuff that comes out like once a year, so everyone kinda knows what's going on. And there's a lot of really good things about being in the district. It protects the value of your home. You know, it's not, everyone seems to, it's
Not good on our end. If I lived 4 houses down Weathersfield, I'd be all set.
But
I wouldn't be sitting here
But
right
it's
now.
not, it's not a board
I know, I
that,
mowed the lawn.
Yeah, 4 houses done, I'd be
as Frank
fine.
started, it's not a board that hides its head in the sand. It realizes they've changed and it tries to look at things objectively in terms of, as they're being presented. There's a history there of acting that way.
I'm surprised with a historic district, you're allowed to have an in-ground pool because that's not historical.
Surprised I'm
Or
allowed to have a
driveway.
paved
Yeah,
driveway.
driveway.
Paved driveway.
Yeah, that's nice.
well, that's, we all know we live in the 21st century as well.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, that's not historical either.
Uh-huh.
I would like to ask the board in giving this thought, the expense that this fence was to already put up and the financial hardship that would be incurred if it does need to come down and something else
Duly noted.
needs to be put up. I believe the cost of this fence was approximately $6,500.
State law says you can't. put
And
hardship on it.
that is a financial hardship, in my opinion.
We hear you.
Okay. Meeting's closed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll be in the back race next time.
You'll be in the back race next month.
Thank you.
You want all the pictures of all that time we took pictures of?
Take care. Good to see you. How are you?
Thank you for coming.
Okay. David, you're on.
We're on.
39 Central Street.
Just very,
Appointment with Debbie Egan, Town Administrator, and Selectman David Peterson.
good evening. Just, this is Debbie Egan, you probably all know her. She's the town administrator. I'm obviously a selectman. And we were here a number of months ago, I guess, it might have been a year ago now, talking about putting the elevator in this building to make it totally handicap accessible. At that time, we were gonna look at tearing down the ramp.
Taking all the money out of the community preservation.
Oh, you don't have enough, let's put it that way, that's why we stopped the project. But it turned out that the cost of the elevator was gonna be about $750,000.
Oh my God.
But by doing the installation of the elevator, we were gonna have to totally handicap access the entire building, which come up to another $1 million. So obviously that wasn't in the cards. So we're back now. If any of you people use the ramp or you look at the ramp, it desperately needs to be replaced. The Council on Aging uses it on a regular basis, people coming in for permits and so on and so forth. So we had our engineer draw our plans, and Debbie, you got enough?
Yeah.
I got one. Basically what we're doing is replacing the ramp with exactly what's there now. The only change would be it'll have a composite deck, be gray composite deck, decking. We have an option to put in lattice work
Yeah.
underneath and around the bottom, so it looks a little more attractive.
We talked.
As you see the plans there, it's the engineered plans, we don't have a picture of it, but it's,
Do you have an elevation?
go ahead.
Do you have an elevation of?
No, it's exactly what's there now. In other words, the deck that's out there meets the requirements for elevation. It just doesn't.
No, do you have a picture of what it looks like in side view?
No, because we can go outside and take a look at it.
But the railing you have
Yeah,
there,
the railings currently here don't meet code.
Right, so we got,
Yeah. So
in
those
other words,
would
this
be-
whole project meets the code.
This will.
Within a year, it'll be, I mean, that's the idea, we didn't hire an engineer
Right,
to design us a ramp that doesn't meet the code.
right.
And, oh yeah, you got the picture there.
Yeah.
So
It
it's,
is.
obviously you have new railings, those bottom railings are dangerous.
Yep.
It'll have a new, at the bottom where the hot top is, it'll be obviously a better base, it'll meet the requirements. But other than that, it's gonna be pressure treated wood going up and around. It'll have a lattice work at the bottom so that, like you can see on the left-hand side there, that's all wide open. It'll be a pressure treated lattice bottom.
Both inside and outside.
Yeah, the whole outside will be.
Yeah, but I'm saying the inside against the upper deck.
Yeah, in other words, anything that's, that whole section there, we can look at underneath and around the corner here, and then on the outside, on the outside of the deck facing School Street,
Oh, I got that picture.
and then the part that's facing Central Street will have the lattice work on it also. And
Okay.
ultimately, after a year, we're gonna paint it white. I don't know if you got a picture of the stairwell in the back of the building that comes out of the COA that was done a few years ago.
Yeah, it's white.
That's all painted, I did that myself actually, painted it white.
But it has,
If you look at the one at Town Hall, it's painted white, and that blends in with the white trim in the building. This here is basically, as far as I'm concerned, it's an eyesore the way it is now.
right.
Once you put the white trim up there, it'll blend
So,
into the building as well as it can blend.
didn't I send you guys photos of an example in town that we talked about last time?
Yeah,
And is that something that's still a consideration?
no.
Okay,
That there.
that there?
Yeah, I mean, that
With the
doesn't look,
balusters?
it may look fine on that particular modern building, but that's not gonna look fine on this building. Our intent here is to replace this, the handicap ramp's been there for 20, 25 years. Our intent was to replicate it as close to
Paglia
what's
built
there.
that?
The what?
Paglia built that?
It was built when he was a selectman. I don't know who actually did the
I
building.
think he had a lot to do with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this,
So that,
this one went through design review with this commission, and that one was something, you know, I think it looks really nice, and I think something like that, white, as you said, would, you know, look appropriate for this building. It would just blend right in, you know?
well, we disagree, but that's fine. I think the point is that if we put in something like that, if you wanna spend another $25,000 or $30,000 for the railings and all the other stuff, I mean, everything costs money, all those railings and all the balusters and all those, it's, believe me, this is costing us $63,000 to do what we're doing here. If we wanna spend $100,000, I guess we could do that, but,
Is that to replace the front and the back?
no, it's just replacing this
Just the front?
ramp that's out here.
What does the front look like, Mr. Peterson? Does it have balusters?
The front,
Yeah, the front stairs. It has
the
white.
ones in the back stairs,
white
in the back?
It does have balusters.
Yeah,
right?
that's a stairwell going down, it has to, it's not handicapped accessible, it doesn't have to be handicapped, so it's,
But
you
wouldn't-
can't have people
but-
falling out the side.
Right, but for design continuity, it would look better if it had that similar balusters.
I don't know, I think you're getting kind of nitpicky as far as what's being required. We're replacing what's been out there for 20 or 25 years with exactly what's there. The only real difference you're gonna see is it's gonna ultimately be painted white, and it'll have a lattice work on the bottom. If you don't want the lattice work, we
Well,
can take the lattice work away.
Could it be instead of lattice, could it be a solid?
No. I mean, we're talking taxpayer funds here. We're here to, and I think the other thing, I think, is in your regulations, under handicapped access, is in compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act and the Massachusetts Architectural Access
Right.
Board regulations,
Just,
all public buildings must be handicapped accessible.
right, which is.
In a historic district, care
Yeah.
must be taken to create entrances that comply with the act and regulations while causing the least impact on the historic district or the historic building's character and facade.
Right,
And that's what we're doing. That's how we designed this, and that's how we wanna do it. And I guess if we get rejected, we can go back to the architect and pay him some more money to design a new ramp, and we pay another $25,000 in cost to replace this,
well, I
and we get held up again.
I was just thinking that for design continuity, you did such a lovely job on the stairwell, that would look so nice. This just doesn't look like it's seamless with the building. It looks like, bam, it's here. If this was painted white, maybe, okay, but, I mean,
That's what I'm saying, we're gonna paint it white, and if they were side by side, be one thing, but people driving by this side of the building don't see what's out back. And the one that's out back is basically, we've never had any negative comments about it. It's fine, it works, it's an access, emergency access for the Council on Aging.
When you say out back, you mean out that way?
Out towards,
yeah.
That way?
Parking lot.
on the back side of the building, on the other side of the Board of Health and the Council on Aging, so.
If we replaced it just as is, painted it all white, did the lattice, is there any way we could, in the future, put new banisters, like 2 years down the road, 3 years?
Well, I
down
think
the
the
road?
idea here is to keep, we're trying to have as least an impact as we can on the historic part of this building. And just to put anything more than what's basically there now is not gonna be historic. There's never been,
Well,
there's never been historic on the side, and that's the idea.
I think quite frankly, that your definition of historic at this point is somewhat limited, that you're looking at a level of replacement that has nothing to do with the original history of the building, and some of the things that we do has to do with restoring or coming back with a point that's more in keeping with the period of the building. I think what we're saying is that, I don't know what the code is in terms of the actual building, in terms of separation. So there's an issue there. But there's also a question of quality of the building, integral to the history overall of the building. So I respect what you're saying in terms of history, but I would, in all due respect, think your the definition of history at this point is somewhat limited, that you're going back 20 years. It's not looking at the overall history of the building and the character of the building.
What I'm saying is, I don't know how else I can say it, is this particular ramp was built, and it's an eyesore. I mean, do we all agree that that's basically an eyesore?
Well, I think it's
Yeah,
what
we all agree.
So we have no other option but to build a similar ramp.
Well,
Right.
And to not keep it as an eyesore, what
I-
we're saying is
do you-
we're gonna paint it white.
David, do you know what the difference in cost would be to add a railing with the balusters that we're talking about? You've thrown a number out to you. Has the engineer or anybody come to you and looked at options for dealing with the railing and the character of the ramp itself?
No, we told them what we wanted, and we're replacing what's here, and we obviously have to look at how much money we have to spend, and
But no
to
one-
add all these
has
other things
anybody-
is gonna add more money.
But has anybody looked at options and said, if you do it this way, it's A, if you do it this way, it's B?
No, we told, it the same thing as the railing over at Town Hall, that's painted white. It's gonna be replaced at some point with a similar system as this. Like I say, with this, just that system, it's gonna cost us $63,000.
I have no
We
no
start
one's
adding,
doubting
we
your
start
numbers.
adding, with spending your taxpayers' money, and I think the taxpayers expect us to come up with a neat plan that fits in with the district.
I don't think we're
not-
I don't think we're looking to be irresponsible and impose any more burden on the taxpayer, okay? What I'm saying or suggesting is that you come up with a number of $63,000, and we're not taking issue with that. The question is, how much of an add would it be to put in a railing and a baluster system that looks in more keeping with the overall history of the building?
Well, I don't see how balusters adds to the historic part of the building, that doesn't.
Part of you've already said that you think the overall appearance of that is less than desirable.
Right.
Okay, and we're agreeing with you. I think in part that has to do with the fact that you have this single railing, you have no separation, and it looks like something that came out of,
Necessity.
Looks
Temporary.
Yeah, temporary.
Temporary, yeah.
Well, I think once you paint it up, it's not gonna look temporary, but, you know, you showed us the picture of the building downtown, which has
Yeah.
got, you know, nice, all fancy woodwork. That building was rebuilt on the outside 100%, and that particular ramp might blend in nicely with that building. We're trying to keep this simple, usable,
I think that would blend in beautifully with this building.
you know,
Well, we don't have the budget apparently
Yeah,
for it.
yeah.
I mean, we're looking, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, we're looking at costs are important to us.
Okay, well,
And the idea that it's a simple replacement of what's there, upgraded by being painted and having the lattice work, more than fits the bill for what your
Would the lattice
regulations
work be the
require.
same color as the railings?
The what?
lattice work is just so,
Would it be different? Would it be the
No.
color of the building?
Lattice work?
The lattice work.
Lattice would be white, similar to what the,
Probably be the PVC stuff.
no, it's gonna be, there's no, the only, the decking is
Well, if you want,
composite, like a Trex. The rest of it's all pressure treated.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about the lattice, because it.
Lattice is pressure treated.
Yeah,
That's what it says.
that stuff looks like hell.
If you look on the plan, it says it's pressure treated lattice work.
I would forego the lattice work.
All right,
I think
that's-
that looks cheap.
That'll
and
save us $5,000, that's fine. We'll be more than happy to give up the
I
lattice
think
work.
if you could do a technique for hiding that was, you know, boarding of some sort, and it was painted white, you could hide what's underneath. If we could compromise, cover up, cover this, don't do the lattice, because the lattice doesn't end up staying nice. It ends up bending, people will hit it, or snow plow will get it, or whatever. If this was solid through here, and this was painted white, and then eventually all of that was painted white, I think that it would blend and look better than a lattice.
Yeah, no, I can agree with you
A,
there.
a solid, like the
We did
example.
do the option of a lattice, figuring that, you know, people might want to enclose that rather than have it open.
I think you'd want to enclose
Yes,
it.
no.
There's a lot of unsavory stuff going on underneath. There's some drain pipes and there's a lot of stuff going on under there. And I think that if it was hidden, that would be okay. And if it was painted the trim, you know, the white trim color. I would hope that you would match this, the same color white, that it wouldn't be a different color white.
Well, it's white is white.
Well, there was a specification for this building, so I'm hoping that you find it and use the same white
Yeah,
trim.
we would, I mean, we were here when we had the building painted, so I'm sure we'll use the same.
So I would,
You've got
I think
windows.
if you want that put in solid all the way across, now I think you're getting into an issue of, it looks gaudy.
So does all the structure needs to be replaced? Is it all rotten?
You're talking about the ramp?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's basically, it's been there 20, 25 years, it's, the salt, because of the salting of the ramps over the years, it's
Yeah, it's
eaten away the
intentional.
frames, the metal framing, the nails, the screws, they're all rusted out. If you look at it, there's parts that are
there was never,
collapsing.
and it's not, it doesn't have that second handrail and
No,
pieces
that
don't
does
come
not
out.
act, that does not meet this, that's why
No,
we
it
have,
doesn't
we have to
meet current
replace it, because it
code,
doesn't
right.
meet the ADA
Okay.
requirements.
Well, that's my 2 cents. I think a solid, instead of pressure-treated lattice work, which I don't think stands up, I don't think it stands the test of time, and you're gonna spend this money and make this investment, I think you'll be disappointed.
No, we'll take,
in the long-
we have no problem taking the lattice out, but I don't feel, personally, I don't feel, and we all have our own opinion about how things look. I think if you put, on that end, if you look at the end picture again, if you could put the end picture up. I think if you're gonna fill that 4 feet, 3 feet to 4 feet with some kind of wood,
Well, that's why you would
Alright.
have drawings.
You got a window on there too, a cellar window.
yeah, there is a
I
cellar
can see
window
two
under
of
there,
them.
yeah. So I mean,
wouldn't- it needs
we're
to
better
be
off
drawn
leaving it
out.
open, paint the whole thing white, and
Yeah,
then we are filling that in with wood.
yeah.
Because wood's gonna rot over time. Might as well put, if you're
I'm worried about
gonna,
the
if
drain.
With it-
you get the drain under there,
Well-
you gotta be able to access
Ponding.
that.
They do
Water,
make, they do make AZAC in 4x8.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you're not gonna let us, you won't let the pool people put plastic, so you're gonna let us put
It's a
plastic for the wall.
PVC, it's a product that we do, we don't
On
approve
boards.
hollow core vinyl, but the PVC is solid, so that is something that people in the district like. It's unfortunate there's no side views on this.
Well, I mean, if you look across the street at that house, how would that look if you had that basement over there all painted white? That's what you're talking about doing here, is painting that whole bottom white. It just brings, we're trying to keep the obtrusiveness of the ramp to a minimum.
Yeah, I
And
don't think
the
this,
more painting you do, the more stuff you put on it. I understand, I'm agreeable with you on the lattice. We did that as an alternate.
yeah, I
if
don't
we
think
wanted to
this
fill it in.
here, I don't think this, the way it meets the grade, would be ugly or bad at all. I think it would be seamless in transition.
No, I think there, I would just leave it, paint it white the way it is and leave the 1 foot. Because you gotta be able to, because we also have to get access under there for
I feel like
grass and weeds and,
I need
and
to draw
and
this
the
up.
drain pipes.
because This is, no one is seeing what I'm seeing here.
I think you,
There's
very
no,
honestly,
this
I
is
think
all
you're
they
being
gave you,
unreasonable.
this is all you got. You didn't get any elevations, our section, this is all the architects gave you, this is.
No, we have a whole set of, we could have brought a set of plans and specs that have, would cover your table there. The idea was, we assumed we were coming here and getting an okay to replace what's there with a new ramp painted white, basically. And nothing fancy, nothing more than that.
Because
The deck
before we
is
had the
great.
ramp with the metal railings, and we
Yeah, there used to
switched
be
it
the-
now, because the bids were too high. So fabricated steel is very expensive, so we've switched it to the wood to keep the cost down. So it's exactly the same.
The decking is gray.
Decking would be great. Which is normal, that's what's on the decking on the other side, that's what's on the decking down at Town Hall.
Okay.
We're just trying to keep it simple.
The only other that I see there's 2 windows there that the bottom
Yeah.
part could be solid wood, but I think the rest of it almost has to be,
Open.
Yeah, I would prefer to keep it open, and rather, either we put lattice or we keep it open. I think to mix the two at this point would be, you're just gonna,
No
in other words, the idea of the white railings and stuff, if you look at the building, it's the beige color, the trim is white. When you paint the railings Well, stain them with solid stain, you paint the railings, and the
there's-
bottom wood on the bottom, because you can see how crummy it gets over time. When you paint it, it's gonna stay good. The one at Town Hall, we've been painting that with white paint,
And your
and it looks
railing,
brand new, actually. It's gotta be replaced because of rust issues and stuff, but, you know, it
and your
certainly
railing
looks
will
good.
be better than this?
Yeah, it's a wooden, it's a,
A real,
It-
a real railing
yeah, it's a handicapped,
to be
accessible code that meets the code. The building inspector's looked at the plans, he's okay with it. Obviously, our architect designs these all over the place. This is so far outmoded, that's why we're replacing it, because the railings are incorrect, the bottom railing's incorrect, the top railing's incorrect. If you look at these, if you look at that
I know, but
ramp
you
going
keep
up,
saying
you
the
can see
same
the ramp
thing.
is actually collapsing a little bit in the middle there. You can see where it's not.
Now, it'd be helpful to see the whole set of plans.
Well,
See the
we don't have an architectural drawing for the set of plans. We can give you all kinds of specs and
Well, who did the set of plans?
CBI.
CBI.
And who was CBA?
All we asked them for was, I mean,
Is that an
An
engineer?
architectural firm in Boston that specializes in
Yeah.
historic buildings.
No,
so I mean, it's,
They do a lot of
so
work.
they're architectural
Yeah,
drawings.
they did the spec for our renovation
Oh, well,
here.
it's painted white.
The cost was too high.
I mean, that's why I say, we're talking about replacing exactly what's there. And basically, it'll be brand new with a coat of paint on it and a gray
Fine.
floor. That's all we're looking for, nothing fancier, nothing more. We thought it was gonna be a simple
Sure.
replacement
simple.
of the project that's there.
Fine, I'm fine with it.
For $65,000.
It
Yeah.
doesn't seem right,
This is not a good
No,
time to be
it doesn't
bidding out
seem
projects,
right.
believe me. What doesn't seem right?
the number.
The number.
Yeah, well,
That's
we
a
had,
lot of money,
Well,
huh?
we
Yeah, we had-
estimated 60, that's the
Yeah.
low bid.
Yeah.
we had three
Wow.
different bids, this was a low bid. If anybody's a contractor, you know, this is not a good time to be
So
bidding out projects.
did that include the professional fees, the architectural fees?
That was about
We had paid
3,000.
architectural fees beyond that, so.
Oh, on top of it?
Any kind of municipal, it's nothing like doing what you're doing at home, believe me. But municipal construction is very, very expensive. We have to pay
I have another applicant.
Prevailing
the
wage rates.
prevailing wage rate, which is 3 times what a normal carpenter is. You know, they have to, it's just,
All the
believe
bonding and all
me,
that
we've
stuff.
been involved in a bunch of
Alright,
different projects
Mr.
here, and it's
Chairman?
no fun.
No, any other discussion from anybody?
It just
No.
seems disappointing that after 20 years, and then another 20 years, it'll be the same fence or structure and the same discussion with no improvement visually.
No, just another 20 years, over the years, the town has covered that with salt. That's no longer, we no longer do that. And the new ramps are not, we don't use salt on them, so.
Right.
There's no reason why this ramp, well, we'll look at the age of us, we're all gonna be
Won't
long
last
gone.
longer, so that's even more reason to try to upgrade it visually just a little bit, you know, just to,
Come back later.
but unfortunately,
You
I
don't have the
guess.
budget.
Yeah, I don't have the budget, yeah.
It is what it is.
Okay. Should we have a motion on this or not?
Sure.
Okay. I'll accept a motion to follow Dave's innuendo.
I'll make the motion to proceed with what has been presented to us today.
Yeah, with a plan as presented, is what basically it is.
Got a second?
I guess so.
You're gonna go with it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna stay in the way of progress, I guess. I would
Okay.
still like to,
I know, I would too,
to
but it
be
meets
one-
code
to
and
build
it
it,
fits the
Yeah.
budget.
and then if something ever came up where someone found a pot of money, we could add the banisters and.
We can always add them later if somebody wants to, there's
You
no
know what I'm
problem with that.
saying?
The structure will
If
be
that's
there. but
part of, at least, because the foundation's gonna be the foundation of that.
If we find a pot of money later, there's another
No, I
half a
know.
dozen or more projects waiting to be funded that we don't have the money for, so.
Have you talked to Tim Toomey?
Now, Tim doesn't talk to me.
He was in the paper.
No, it's municipal
So,
construction.
are we doing
means
this or not?
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Okay, are we doing this?
All in favor?
Aye.
Can't have people falling down.
I got two votes here.
Yes.
3, 4, okay. 4 yeas, 2 nays.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now I get to bore you with my old house. Cheer up. And I guess this is an informal discussion because there was a little bit of a discrepancy between the Tuesday meeting and the Thursday meeting.
I don't know where you found that.
That's in the PDF, in your 8 steps.
But I went back to look at it and it
I'll show it to you, I got it
said-
printed out right here.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
I think I quit.
Oh, no, I don't want you to
Sarah,
quit.
Sarah,
Let's
I
all
don't blame
quit.
you. I don't blame you.
Right now.
Deadlines and fees. I don't know, I read it like 6 times, it's in there. It
I'm
says
like,
Tuesday.
oh God, John. Does it really?
Oh, yeah. You wanna look too?
Thank you.
The Undertaker's house.
Oh my God, John.
So now I have to send out abutters notices again.
Yeah, all right, all
I'm
right.
not upset about that, let's just,
Well, but no, let's iron everything out and then we can make it, we'll just make it go real fast next time.
oh yeah, no, that's what I figured this was, we were just kinda,
I thought I took this is totally my fault. I am so
No,
very
that's okay.
sorry. I
That's
just
okay.
quit tonight, so it doesn't really matter.
that's all right. Yep. So anyways, that's my
Okay.
circa 1952 or so house.
Yep, yep.
It's a small ranch.
Made by Lang, right?
Probably, yeah. Probably
What's
with Herrick
existing?
lumber.
John, what's the existing materials?
The existing material is 10-inch rough sawn pine
Mm-hmm.
with 8 inches of exposure.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's also the sheathing of the house. So when that siding comes off, you're gonna see wires and insulation.
Wow.
So this project is a little bit more than just
Yeah.
re-siding the house. You know, the windows, they're
Yeah.
1950.
Yep.
They definitely need replacing. The doors have been replaced at some time with metal doors,
Yep.
which are just a standard, what is it, a 6-2 solid door. But I guess, let's see what I have. You get the views of the house.
Yep. Oh, wait, hold on. Yours today, which looked like it was bright and sunny.
Yeah.
Look at, like, the.
That's because I
it's
mowed the
bright.
lawn yesterday. The grass is greener than green.
Very bright.
The end of the fence.
And I'm very appreciative of your photos. Yeah, I'll get them all loaded. Okay. So, here's the front.
Yeah, so the siding is, along the bottom has got a lot of rot in it and it's all checked and
Yep,
it's just, like I said, it's rough sawn pine
yep.
that was just slapped up there
And
back
the
in
windows,
1950.
the window sizing, everything's just gonna stay the same, right?
Yep.
Nothing changes.
And I'm not planning on doing 6/6 or anything like
No, it would
that.
be the
Just
1/1 simple window,
existing.
right? Mhm. Modern,
With the trim, the same style trim.
yep.
I am partial to the ASEC or the Hardy board. They make
Yep, trim,
the PVC trim.
yep.
Um,
Hardy doesn't, they make, there's like a
Well, they do, there is, in here, I have a brochure from Hardy, it might not be theirs,
Yeah.
it might even be
Oh,
ASIC itself.
Harvey or Hardy?
Harvey, I'm sorry, Harvey.
Yeah, they do have a
Yeah.
product, yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
Like
right
in
here.
Harvey windows.
Like Harvey.
Right,
Yeah.
Harvey windows and
Yeah,
doors.
and you just do the white, or you would do white?
Yeah, white trim,
White trim.
and the blue, whatever that color is, it's a colonial blue, whatever.
Are you
You
gonna
can
do it?
You can do any color you want. It's not-
Are you gonna do
I'm not
it?
worried about the color.
Are you gonna do it in Hardy?
Well, that was my one, I mean, I knew everything else was gonna probably go pretty smooth here today, for me. I wasn't-
may
I didn't-
not.
I don't wanna get into I mean, this is probably the color that we have right now, right here.
Yeah,
So, I'm familiar with the cement products.
okay.
There's
And,
another product, Borel, that's out there too.
Yep, I actually did some research on the Everlast,
Yeah.
and
Oh, you had
I kinda
Everlast?
like that too.
So we have, I told you, we have a 29 Pleasant,
Mhm.
and what'd you think? That's a nice gray, isn't it?
I haven't looked at it, but I just kind of went over it today briefly, just to see what the material was and
Yeah.
how they install it and
So
everything.
you should see how it looks
Yeah.
in the field at 29 Pleasant. It's excellent. We did that as a test.
So when you say a test, does that mean that it's approved?
Yeah, because it came out so well.
Because I have to get prices, and
Yeah.
I have to be specific as to what, if I'm gonna use hardy board,
You could,
if I'm gonna use Everlast,
you could
if I'm
price
gonna
it for
use
either one.
traditional vinyl, which I know you're totally against.
The panel vinyl, we're against the panel vinyl.
And I'm not gonna go the way these guys did and tell you how many vinyl-sided houses there are
Right.
in the historic district.
Right.
One of which is 3 doors down from here that was done less than 20 years ago.
Again,
But-
not this,
Okay.
not this commission though.
Yeah, but it's still the,
And it could have
still
been,
the same
I-
who knows, it
bylaws,
could
isn't
have
it?
been, it could have been snuck in at
God,
midnight
that's-
hour too.
I'm
No,
like,
it was approved.
Okay.
I talked to the carpenter. But anyways,
I think we should just. go
my,
with
my,
vinyl.
my only thing was,
3 houses
in
down.
using
Yeah, I think it's
Smith's,
down that way.
Smith's number 13, there's actually a picture of it on the very back of that.
Everybody's doing
on-
their research.
You're on School Street,
Yeah, right here.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
I
okay, yeah,
thought you
that
had
one.
been 3 houses down, this one.
All right,
My
but
only-
we have other products that we can look at.
Oh, no, I know,
Yeah.
my thing is where this is such an extensive project for me
Yeah.
to have to redo the sheathing as well as the siding.
Yeah,
I just wanted the option. I would rather have hardy board siding or that Everlast looks great. But price-wise, if the sheet vinyl siding came down to be a third of the price, which I don't think it is, it's
I
probably
don't think
close
it
to a little bit more than half maybe. But anyways, that Everlast siding is basically vinyl siding that goes into a J channel, just like traditional sheet vinyl.
right, but it's the way, if you look at it, it has a very smooth appearance.
Mhm.
And I think as it's an individual board, it goes on so nice. You don't have those seams. Again, it's so that.
Probably on new construction it goes on nice, but we'll see what happens.
Well, her house at 29 is very similar to yours. You
Yeah.
really should go look at her house.
No, I will. I've got another month to hash this out now.
Well, yeah, and you get a month to do your pricing,
Yep,
right?
yeah.
You know where else Everlast came to us? 57 Central, Nelson,
Gee,
over there on the Victorian.
Yeah, with the,
Mhm.
yep, his house is done.
His house looks really good.
He was the first to see how it would look,
Yeah.
so.
So that's a vinyl?
It's actually, it's a vinyl composite. So it has a, correct me if I'm wrong, John, but it
They're
says.
clapboards and they lock in together.
And it has
So when
a
you-
thicker profile, so
Yeah.
it's not thin, and it actually has a weight to it, and it visually looks
I
really
don't
sound.
think it's, you know, it's not a cheap product.
No, it's
No,
not,
it's
it's an
not.
individual strip, it's composite.
And just, I was looking around town at all the vinyl houses, and when I saw the old library, I drove by there and I said,
That's hard.
I think that's vinyl side. Well, see, I have an attention to detail. I was a machinist for 25 years, and I can see things from
Yeah, it is
a
hard.
distance. And I looked at
It's
it,
early on
and
hard.
because of the way the lines were perfectly straight, and I had to go up and knock on it to know that it wasn't vinyl siding.
It was a very bad job. Whoever installed it did
Yeah.
a very poor job, because so many people come in here and it's like, nope. I'm like, it isn't vinyl.
Well, there's poor
It's-
sheet vinyl siding jobs and good sheet vinyl siding jobs too.
That's true.
And
That's
unfortunately, there's probably more of the poor slapped up jobs, and that's what's given it a bad name.
Probably, you're right.
So, that being said,
I think you'll find the hardy board siding, the clapboards are the most economical.
yeah,
Yeah.
similar to the vinyl,
Well, yeah, less expensive.
I think they even come in a little less expensive.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. It's just more expensive to install.
I
That's-
think in the long run, the value of the home will go up with the hardy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I
I
think
mean,
it's a great
ultimately,
product.
it's-
You can get the factory painted too.
Yeah,
Would you do the pre-primed? Or would you-
pre-painted, I believe.
Pre-paint-
is- yeah,
Excuse me, pre-painted. Thank you.
yeah, I want low maintenance,
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I put some up on my barn, looks great.
yeah.
All right, so that being said, Harvey, this regular,
The Harvey windows are fine.
what are, double hung windows are
Yep,
fine.
Yep, that's fine, no problem there.
I don't know if you notice in the third page, the view there,
Yep.
there are some casement windows. That was an addition that was put on at some
Oh.
point. Those casement windows are still in
Good
great
shape.
shape, so I don't think I'm gonna be replacing
These-
those anyways.
Here's the white, two white ones, right
Yeah,
there.
those, my tenant broke those, but that's
But
a
you're
whole
gonna
other
put,
story.
you're gonna make all the windows the same, right? They'll all
Oh,
be
yeah,
white?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that,
And the
I
trim
think-
will be all the same.
Actually, I think the white trim is gonna make it pop, it'll look really
Oh,
nice.
no, definitely.
Yeah.
My
That
wife
would be
agrees
good.
with you.
Okay, so, and then we had the front. What are you gonna do about the front door?
Well, that's, if you look at the page where I had the doors, it's just a standard, what do you call it?
Just a Therma-Tru door?
Yeah, it's a
Yep.
6-panel, solid Therma-Tru door. And that would be,
Oh, yeah, here it is,
that would
selected.
probably, that would be in white too.
Yeah, white, I think the white will
And
make,
that storm door in front of it,
It would go white with the storm door too, yeah.
with the same shape and base as what you're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's some sort of a, I don't think there's anything about storm doors, is there?
no, we don't review storm doors,
Okay,
it just,
good.
I think it was
Or it's a
just,
uniform,
just an aesthetics,
just a uniform appearance across the
Mhm.
board, that's all.
yeah. Yeah, so I don't have any problem whatsoever with your proposal. I am a little cautious about the sheet vinyl, the more traditional. I would rather see us
No, I
go
know.
with the hardy. I just think there's so many examples in town, and people have come back to us and said, wow, I can't believe how quiet my house is with the hardy.
My house is very quiet.
Wow. People have, and the insulation value that they get from it as well.
Yeah.
People have really, we've gotten such positive feedback from it. That's why we keep saying,
Mhm.
let's do it. And people love it. They love the maintenance of it, and we have some nice examples. And then 23 Central, that one is down just over there, and he has, I think, a 5-inch to the weather exposure. And
Mhm.
it looks so nice, and he's got the light green at 23 Central. So you can see that the larger board looks so nice.
Like I said, I don't consider my house historical, so.
No, it
as
isn't,
far
but we
as
want it
the-
to look good.
Oh, it's gonna look good no matter what it has. It's gonna look way better than what it is right now, so.
And only thing, if we do the hardy, if that's the route we're gonna go, the only thing the commission asked for is a smooth side out. And I think you have a smooth here.
What do you mean, smooth side out?
Yeah,
That's rough sawn.
Okay, so smooth side out in hardy, I don't know if I have a sample. So that's the one stipulation that the commission has.
Oh, I thought it was just like a wood grain.
Yeah, so the wood grain actually looks, if you see it, the wood grain looks like, you can tell it's a stamp. It's less
Oh,
convincing.
so you're talking smooth side, like, just like a regular clapboard?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, no, I understand that.
Yeah,
That's not a problem.
Yeah, One side is rough, the other side's smooth.
That's right, and we
Yep.
would just say, that's the only stipulation,
Mhm.
that, design stipulation that we have.
Okay.
Okay?
And
But
if you
other
can
than
just,
that-
if you can just fix that PDF so that
I-
nobody else
You know-
nobody else gets confused like I did.
You know what, it's
Got
not
in a
on
big
the
fight
web-
with the wife that night.
that
She
came-
thought I was trying to sabotage the project.
No,
And I said,
that
nope.
came
I
from
said,
my
I read that
computer.
somewhere. I said, I know I read it
I
3
know,
times.
I know, you did, and it was
I
my
raced
fault.
down there and got everything in by 16
And I
days
sent,
and 14 days.
it was the one that I sent to you,
Yeah,
and that's even the worst,
yeah. So
but
anyways,
it's not on the website. so-
I don't have to reapply, correct?
No,
I just have to send out another set of notices to my abutters.
Yeah, and let's see we're gonna do the meeting date right now. It's gonna be the 6th of June,
Okay.
okay? So we're gonna see you on the 6th of June. And I will email you the agenda.
Great.
You'll be first, we'll get you in and out.
Okay, no, that's
Okay.
no problem.
All right,
Hopefully
All
the
right.
Bruins might
Thanks
still
for
be
being
in it.
patient.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was actually entertaining and enlightening. My first comment was gonna be, I don't wanna bother you with any more vinyl tonight.
Thank you,
Do you wanna
John.
keep those
Uh,
pretty pictures, or you want me to
No.
bring those back with me next time?
you
Yeah.
hold on to
Why don't
them,
you- okay.
that would be super.
Just to
And
refresh your
actually-
memory?
And
Yeah. Thank you.
actually, John, I think we are all good with the Hardy or the Everlast,
Mm-hmm.
and we wanna see you do a nice design project. Harvey windows, no problem, everything in your spec is good.
So as far as a
Encour-
design project,
Encouraging you to go the other, staying away from the sheet vinyl.
well, you already told me I can't.
Yeah, well, get your pricing, okay?
Yeah,
Alright, and then basically, we'll just finalize everything when you come in.
okay,
You'll be in and out.
okay, great.
Alright,
Thank you all.
thanks again for coming in. Those are all the cases that we have this evening, Mr. Chairman.
And there are no
No-
historic,
I don't know, I think.
Oh, the commission, you meant, there's
Yeah.
nothing
No,
for the
there's
commission.
nothing.
Yep.
But I
Nothing.
do think, Mr. Chairman, that we definitely have an issue that we are gonna have to have a larger conversation about at some point.
You
I
mean-
think we should have it really soon before we keep running into this, before we proceed any further.
Do we have it during this meeting, or can we,
I don't know, I'll have
is
to
it like
find,
a
I'm gonna have to
closed,
find out
a
what
closed
the,
meeting, just a
If we
policy?
can have a special meeting,
yeah,
or-
I have to
yeah.
find out what the procedure is, if
Yeah.
it's possible, cause I don't think we can.
Well, I think it's also coordination with the building department in terms of knowing what their process is, and whether they're under any obligation to make sure before they issue a permit that everybody has been consulted, or.
Yeah,
Or sign off?
And the other thing I'd like to do in terms of the second meeting is find out what the obligations are for someone to present the proper set of drawings for us to evaluate the request. Because, that whole conversation about what's happening with the ramp, anyway, finish the first one, I'm sorry. I do agree that we should have some sort of a discussion, but it involves input from other people. And we need to make
Right.
that, I think, if there's been a continuance, the reason that I think we were calling for it is that we needed to weigh things so that we had some sort of a comprehensive approach that they were gonna
Right.
hear. And I don't think they can be penalized for all the crap that's happened
no,
before them.
no, they
but,
brought in a very good case, it was
You know.
very,
And I think we wanna be fair to the district. We have to establish,
yeah.
It's going forward, it's the problem.
right,
Now
yeah.
the damage has been done, we need to have
that
we need to
policy.
be-
but we can't go
Yeah.
after every single.
No, we're not gonna do that.
That's-
It has to be some sort, those are grandfathered in.
Yeah,
But there has to be a process in terms of when there are violations moving forward, there's some stipulation in the regulations to talk
Yeah.
about things that are not addressed right now.
And the
Yeah.
community needs to know this, the people that live in this district need to understand that they, what the boundaries are. And I think going forward, there should be no more vinyl fences. I think I see
Yeah.
them popping up everywhere.
See, that's.
But I don't know whether you need a legal input to know how to proceed that way,
Well, that's the
so that other
building
people
inspector.
aren't saying, well, look what's down the street, or look what's, but going forward, this board, no more. That's my opinion.
I mean, I say the major glitch was that the building permits are being issued without our approval.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes, I agree. I mean, Ken Ward has to say, have you been to,
yeah.
or be
I think
aware
there
enough
was a
of the issues
There was a
that he.
miscommunication, and it seems like there was a missteps along the way, and I do feel badly that these people are,
You're not gonna ask, you can't expect them to take down and put something else up when first of all, there'd be a lot of controversy. You'd get so much, you get people worked up all over the town
I know.
over it.
I know.
But it's going forward,
Yeah,
that's
I
the
think so.
real, yeah, I do too.
Well, that's the thing. Like I
So-
said, even we put a pamphlet together, it got mailed out once a year, and.
Education is part of the
The other thing
bylaw,
too
but
is
we
when you
have
buy
no
a
money.
home, There
We have
should
no
be another.
money. I have $70 in our budget.
So
It
if we
doesn't
type
count.
something up and copy it, maybe we can all take
Post.
areas and deliver it and put it in people's mailboxes. I'll do that.
I
You
But
know,
I
mean,
think
you're
With
right.
the pros and the cons, like the real pros about being in the district and how good it is.
Yes.
And just the basic notes, no vinyl siding, no vinyl fences, and this is why it evaluates, it doesn't increase the value, it brings it down, it doesn't dilute it.
And it's not simply our town. People don't understand that. They think that it's just Rowley, you know, I mean, it's
No, this is across the state of
right,
Massachusetts.
and people don't
Yeah,
understand
exactly,
that.
and this is-
So I want to find out what our best procedures are, because, do we have a special meeting, just us to talk about it? Does it have to be, is it an open meeting? I don't know.
Who do you have to ask that question?
I'll ask Debbie Egan, the town manager, she'll guide me, or Stu Hazen, the town clerk, will help me.
I think there
figure
should
that
be a
out.
policy that, there's no such thing as grandfathering in. It's, that if, say a fence, a vinyl fence gets damaged, and it has to get repaired, it cannot be repaired, it has to be replaced. And that make it precedence
John.
that, no, I'm just saying that,
You're a can of worms, first of all, then you deal with, there's a value judgment if you have a section that's wood and the rest is vinyl,
no, meaning the same with vinyl siding. Like if someone says, hey, I've gotta replace a portion of my vinyl siding house because it got wind damage. No, or it's more than 25% damage, it has to be.
Well, if that's the case.
If there's some type of policy,
Well-
something.
I guess
I'm thinking out loud, it
Yeah.
might not be the,
I would disagree with that approach, because I
I
think
do.
that.
but it wouldn't be going.
Because then you've got, at least if you have something that is all vinyl, like, if you start substituting.
No,
another
like
material.
not that piece, the whole fence has
I
to be
don't know,
replaced.
John,
No,
I think.
I'm
we
just
would
saying,
need-
if people knew that they were in violation, but there's nothing, they have a vinyl fence that doesn't meet the spec. That's fine, you can keep it, it's existing to stay, but if it ever has to come under repair, that they've been notified that it cannot be vinyl.
Right,
I don't
you
know,
may-
Instead of using like,
You might
I
have to-
already
you may have-
had vinyl, I'm grandfathered in
You
to
may
do
have
it
to
again.
substitute the word replacement for repair.
I don't
Okay.
know, John,
Well,
that's,
so-
that's.
How about
something-
additional fencing, like these people had a fence that was vinyl
That's-
that they said they matched that had been existing for 15 years. Going forward, they should not have been able to match that fence. Then the new fence should have been wood.
Wood, yeah.
But I'm just saying, even if the people were
I would be
notified
curious
that,
to hear
that
what
the
other
fence that
town-
they
like,
have
what
is
has
not,
Ipswich done? What is,
Ipswich doesn't have a district, but, I
in your report?
This-
Newbridge Port doesn't have a district either. I think that I will contact the state rep who is, our representative from Mass Historic is Chris Skelly. I think this is other towns are going through this. We can't be the only one. What are they doing? But policies like that can be very divisive, and I don't know if that's the right answer.
I'm not sure.
These white shiny
Are we being
fences though
recorded?
really just
Is the camera
really
still
take
on?
away from the
Yeah,
town.
we haven't adjourned, that's why I said,
Okay.
we need to have a special, we need to have, we need to have figure out a special meting, and that's
Why
something I'll
don't we
talk.
close this meeting and then we can talk?
No, and that's not allowed, so we have to make it, because and then
My
the other thing is,
conscience.
we need to, we need to play by the rules. And then I think what we'll need to do is invite the members of the public for a discussion if,
For their
actually,
input, yeah.
because if we do change any of the guidelines, it has to be in public forum. and
But
we
can't
would
you have a discussion beforehand just to bat around ideas without
Yes,
bringing
and
it
I have
public?
to
That would
find,
be
I just need to
difficult.
find out if that's an open meeting or if that could be an executive session. I don't know what the
Gotcha.
rules are on that, and I need to do some homework on that. But more to come. I think a lot of things, I feel so illuminated to a larger issue. I feel overwhelmed really by tonight's discussion. So I think I need to kind of process everything.
Maybe take a vacation.
I'm going to the
Yeah.
hotel.
Take the $70.
So, Mr. Chairman, that was all of the
It's at least a room at the day's end.
So we can, that's it, we can make an adjournment, please.
around and drink.
We're all going to the,
Why don't we
Burgers.
meet on Thursday again?
Well, I have to find out from Debbie what the procedure is I have to know if it's an open meeting. So can we hold on that?
Yeah.
Sure.
But we have no more issues for this agenda for tonight, so we can close the meeting, and I will speak to Debbie about the procedure as to, do we have an open meeting, or can we have executive meeting for discussion, how to move forward, okay?
great.
That'd be fine.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. All right, I'll take a motion to close this meeting.
I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll second this.
Thank you.
Are you sure?
Wholeheartedly.
All in favor?
Aye.
Quiet, isn't it?